Hello there, welcome to the Reflection Show with me, Martha and Spice. Today I'll be having an amazing conversation with two mothers here in Tamale in a community called Malshegu. If you are in Tamale and its environs, I believe you'll be familiar with this community. We want to speak with these mothers to understand the role mothers can play in reducing teenage pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy has become a big issue, and everybody in the world, especially in Ghana and even in Tamale, is finding ways and means to reduce teenage pregnancy. And we believe that our mothers have something to say when we all are putting our hands together to reduce this. I can't wait for this lovely and amazing conversation. And of course, please, the conversation will be in Dagbani, the language popularly or mainly spoken in Tamale. So I'll be doing some translations, and of course, maybe hopefully you understand Dagbani, but this conversation is for everybody out there who is finding ways and means to help all of us put together to reduce teenage pregnancy, and for all the stakeholders in this. This episode is powered or supported by NORSAC under the Power to Youth project in helping us to reduce teenage pregnancy in our communities in partnership with the Martha and Spice Foundation. Let's take a breather. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break with me, Martha and Spice. Like I said earlier on, it's going to be a conversation in the local dialect, Dagbani, or some will say Dagbanli. So we want to speak with some mothers who will be helping us understand what they can do to help us reduce teenage pregnancy. I'll be doing some, let me say, interpretation, and I believe that it would help you comprehend whatever that our mothers will be sharing with us. Imaraba. When we say Imaraba, it means you are welcome. So I'm just welcoming them to the show. So I have to my far right Zenabu, that is, she's called our mother Zenabu, and then Hamdaratu. So Pam into Kusaha and Kanatazun Jiomani. Okay, so Yampilla Zenabu Sane. Bibi Pole. So womiane be tinyanya. Ka te paɣasara maa shɛŋa ti to kula laɣaribe aziki binni ka bi to chaŋ tooni pam ka niŋ puli bukatima nim nin tooi niŋ ka ti lee che bibihi puli.
N gba zaa paɣaya pam naa ni bɔhima shɛm maa dama bibili puli ti ni yɛn niŋ shɛm n taɣi bibili puli naɣala ti zaŋla ti maŋ niŋ Naawuni nuuni n suhi Naawuni n zaŋ sahigu pam n ti ti bihi maa ka bi yuuni ti taba dama ʒɛmana ŋɔ zaɣala bia gba bɛla lala dini n kpalim amaa zaɣala bia bɛla la nyini miri ka nyini chɛ ka a bia bɛla la zaŋmi sahigu too o yibu shee yuŋ o dɔnni kpee maa ni kanni o sani maa gbahimi o dɔnni kpee maa biɛhigu ni nyɛ shɛm ka chɛ ka o mini o dɔli di chɛ ka a bia dee yina sambanni nyɛ zo ka o mini o dɔli o mini o ni dɔli maa nyini kpahimi o zo maa biɛhigu ka naan saɣi ti ka o mini o dɔli a kpahimi o zo maa biɛhigu ka o biɛhigu bi saɣi taa nyini yihima a bia maa o ni di chɛ ka o dɔli o n ti vo a bia maa kpee yɛtɔɣa shɛli ni andi je.
Okay, so Omajanabu is just saying that first of all, you need to advise your kids, your children, and also prevent them from following bad friends. So you would also, as a parent, she's saying that parents should be vigilant in getting to know the kind of friends that their children are moving with. Then if you notice any bad behavior in the friends your children are moving with, then you are able to probably prevent some of the things that would happen before they happen later on. Mahamda, wala kati nanka bebe pole buto nan chantone.
On kuli nyere to ashelma den kan bayan pi bibel puli to no chende na on so ba man kunyere na on mi nye nasara na on la nye turna be ma yib ma puni anto ya ne gun koyen yi nti jila la fitina mana kartinya la guntan ona ponchenda puni koyen jile na to na la nduma na on mulu o ya inchana ya kaza anto persona nya o shirchana ne be obichang dom dinya la yinga anto persona nya ma dinya la sambanne o yela nchana ya kaza da tumina bo anchen ya kaza ma pasan ka chen ma be dusane nchen lan zo suna ne be zo ma suna ne da tuna mi o zona da ma zona ma za ka ban ka zona mi nyaba
nyabangle
zo so biane karanya la nguni yan cho yo ama ay ama nan lan ba va go cha to ri shanga nya fitina zanti to zona ma da zo bible puli to so rabbanma namma ni tamanma do ma ne le resonda dama ta pasha ben ta kayeda paso ben ba kabima obama ya sa so ka mama ba sai ka ta pasha mo biane nyimma ma yen nan la kam de yan nan kabima zarfen yan ga ba ma ba le resonda ma zo kare ti ji la fitina mana de sa de mi ti ji la fitina won bla yan kalo nu pa de ni de nya la nyim pa ma to man ba o mi de ba mi ni pa ma na la dama to wa to na la de zo na ala to sura NGOs bambe tamal fune be bambe samban ne lo la kam be yim nan to le sonte de pachel kat tamal ko karabi ay zo non shukuru ma fune dai ne o la dira ne nyesham anto dol shukuru ma na tinya u pa bi o pa o yi pa on yirna ma o mun zo banam le dole zo na ma be ven yara zo na ma ka ven yara cice na ma shabwa pa handa ban to chan ka cice so ti yara ni abi ma mun za anan mon dole ama man son sam din yame adi yiba oni dare nyala din yan tituni dom zo sha be shukurmane arabu mina bi ma nyor shigar ko tunyura arabu mina bi ma nyor var ko tunyura de zabela karnyala shukur punu ko tishelena tinyara pam ne biene ka biso to ko inte yo aka yan sa so hati ya ko yeni zalanda wu ma de sa hadi to jimni am azami yirpum bioni ola wakati ma odana ko to jimni de pam tete bible fule.
Okay, so Hamda is just saying that first of all, of course, the northern region is known for its heavy religious setting. So she's saying that first of all, she believes that we should pray for the children, we should pray for the young people, and if we are able to pray for them effectively, some of these things can be reduced. And she said that she gave some examples about some mothers who do not support the fathers to discipline their kids. So there are times that fathers would want to discipline their children and the mother is pleading on their behalf. So she said that in that regard, it does not give the children that necessary discipline that they need. So parents should together discipline their child together. So don't let maybe the father is trying to discipline the child and you want to be seen as the good mother. So you are begging on their behalf for them not to be discipline. And she also mentioned a key factor, I think, in some of the community outreaches that we do at the Martha Inspires Foundation. We keep mentioning that parents do not visit their children in the schools. So she's saying that parents or mothers should make enough time to visit their children in the schools to monitor what they are up to, and also support teachers, because sometimes the teachers are also doing their best, but we do not see the full support from the mothers in that regard. So if all of us can put our hands together to see that the discipline of their children is done very well, then teenage pregnancy can also be reduced on that level. Manama, tuwumiane sometimes pasarama nebo dola zonama iya zonama tuwum de la kama ameriani bujiya shukur polo na chembel arba sometimes, but last 2 weeks on da meet at a banama shabma but shabda yeliane sometimes to manama agba and supporter behema dama uya kaji larama na kagba nyeb de la dizo abuto sasar behema vengelanga ya malin le ye dena imaginable
yel mangle ne ya ne yel mangla ma kansane te paaba ti shab mal korsi pam ka shab biɛni ti nyangla ti yi daanima shab paɣa so ku biɛni ka o bia yi n ti ʒi binshaɣu na ka o deeli o je gba ni ba maa wum o ku je ni ba maa baŋ di yɛla o biɛn chɛ ka ba maa baŋ di yɛla ba maa yi baŋ di yɛla o ku saɣi hali ba maa yi ti puhi ti baŋ di yɛla o biɛn yɛlo di yɛli maŋli amaa to shab biɛni o ku tooi yɛn mi shɛli ka o yi dan ʒili bia maa yi ʒi lala bini maa na ka o niŋ yɛda ni lala bini maa din yɛn saɣam bia maa bukaata bala o n chɛ ka ba maa baŋ ti laɣam niŋ nangbani yɛn saɣa bia maa n yɛli bia maa yɛli maŋli lala binshaɣu n zaŋ kpɛ ti maa na ti ba niŋ yɛda ti ba bɔrili di mi nyɛla ŋun zaŋli maa na ka di pala bia maa n chaŋ ti ʒili na ka di nyɛla lala niri maa zaŋla ti tima n bi bɔri n bia ŋɔ zuɣu ka o di nyɛla n bia ŋɔ zuɣu ka o niŋdi maa n bi bɔri o mini n bia maa n bi niŋ yɛda n bi bɔrili di zuɣu ma ni yɛn yɛli yɛltɔɣa shɛli ŋɔ yɛn zaŋ ma yɛli n paɣi taba ka ti mini ti yi daadima ka ti niŋ nangbani yini ti bi niŋ nangbani yini n kpɛ ŋun ti duma Naawuni yuli n suhi Naawuni ka Naawuni sɔŋ ti n mali ti bihi maa titi ka di yɛn nyɛla ti nim hankali bee ti yɛm ni ti baŋsim ka ti yɛn zaŋ wubisi bihi di ku sɔŋ ti yɛm ku sɔŋ ti baŋsim ku sɔŋ ti na ti zaŋla ti maŋ n niŋ Naawuni nuuni ka di chɛ ka bihi maa bin bɔra ka di niŋ ti muɣi o di yaɣari ti sani hali a yi ka gba nyɛ maŋ maŋa a zɔsim o biɛɣu ma biya n chɛ ka ninkpaŋ maa maŋa n yɛlo ka o taa ka a ti bia maa ti chɛ ka fukumsi gbaai bia maa ti yaai fukumsi zaɣ biɛɣu di tirila bihi maa barili dama o di bɔri ni o di tam shɛli maa a bi too o biɛn yurimi an di jɛni o di maa o biɛn yurimi ka dili di zuɣu fukumsi niŋ ti yaɣi di ʒiri barina na tiri bihi maa.
Okay. I think she's mentioned a very key point on parental support. You know, I was just asking her about, so in the northern region, most times, or even in Ghana, we see most parents who want to attend funerals, they want to attend outdoors or weddings, and they want to spend so much money in taking care of how they look, the clothes they have to buy to go for such ceremonies. So she's saying that mothers should actually focus on getting the needs of their children and not about the needs that they need for themselves for these kind of ceremonies. So if you restrict or you prevent your child from getting his or her basic needs, then they are tempted to go out for some of these things. And she also come up with the other point about prayer. And she's saying that if both the father and the mother is able or are able to put their hands together, then there can be so much unity, wisdom, because wisdom is not in just one person, or it's not just for one person, but two people can have wisdom to be able to raise a child. So she's pleading to mothers as well to be able to support the fathers in raising their children, and also reduce or stop buying things or clothes for ceremonies and focus on getting the basic needs for your children. If that is done, then we can see a lot of teenage pregnancy being reduced or even stopped among some of the girls or most of the girls in Tamale or the Maushegu community. Mahamda, pahaboka agwama na pahe.
Pahawo share dinya pahe de funu nyame. O yel shama ya malko yel. Di share bien mi. Karayi ta pa ma san di zo ka dab ma ne ta pa ma san karayirma. Ta pa ma mi san yema nyame. Pa so bien. Bi manuel bora nyasam ko mama gba manuel bora nyasam to sa shele on jema wa wala ma ba to no dimla ban ma ka bi ma yinti nyan jina ntenan tin mama ba ma yiti nyari nyilimbo ka yen yele mama bi en sai to ti dagban da ba mi den na ta man da ban pa ba nyami bi ne ta kpangna nye bi pumbala ka gasna dagban da ba ban tabla musulun sa ayino yuno nguni mine bi na ba kuldo yele o hachina jila nyam bamazo
Nyamangli.
Dagban do bian ko bi to ko kpangdana o bale bi pumbala to ko yir biana mbamba la ko kanyinti she o kayen tamalare to kanyinti she o kayen tamalare ma wakatima o yintuzu domi abajilo dagule dinyalo on to bela ma ka bo wolma to ayna yi shukurna be bane zaman wolo ngochang nyi anan don o yema she de tumna ku kato ku kata ma nyedini nyimma na bieno yi o nyela bi pumbala ka yelo bin zan jila ma abiani shukuru la dira ka bo na sanya biala ngbobcha ayi ka so to bola no dagulma ka dagulma ti nyala ti twam du be bani ni yel ma na ba kware daguli ti twam du ma pergala nyala zante fois so be no yelo no yendam ka twama ka ti nyala a dagulma za na yoro zo ka tawu ka mana ben ha na sahawu to fun po ara mem no yi kwa na on kwa na ma ka kuna ma ka jane ko piti karanya asa ni jao ko yalan shin yin ta kwa ka kana jaba ne ka fulkurge muleza wati puwa oje yaro muleza wati puwa oje yaro kabalati yani nyino ma asankara yi nyini cheko no halka tanala to deni cheka daba ma yani to zuro na kara shi na ma to naomi ni yuwa ka kpa bi so zuro ne karna ven yara ta do so mi bjeni bia abu bo wal ma tibi ma bia ne ka bi ma yin yan chan shukuru mbanche na shukuru to na na lafsana na lafsana ma mi ni yero bo ban sha mama na bjeni o yela ka nan ba bi uzo ka biala bi obi sino bonto ama mama ikani ka achan ka yar mama biana ka sechan ka yara ko yira o yi ka sonya biala to jani ko ka ti de shi ko lajira na da moya nyama gba da mama na pinche na babutama to la wakati ma da za ha jira bi problema fitina interti tetamal
yeah, so she's talking about the fact that, for example, I don't know if you saw the exclamation that she made earlier on, that as soon as a girl starts developing breast and she says that, okay, my father, I want money, their father will be like, you this big girl, you are still asking me for money. They are going to school, their parents don't give them money. So if the girl goes out and a guy says, oh, take this 5 cedis, go and buy this food, then the girl will be like, oh, wow, you are caring, you are nice, because that attention is not gotten in the house. And there are some of the mothers who have no choice because they are practically also struggling to take care of their home. At the end of the day, most people actually, or in a cultural setting, the woman is actually supposed to struggle or look for means to cook for the family in the evening. Whether the father gives her money or not, she has to look for money to feed the family in the evening. So if her daughter comes and says that, oh, I found a guy who gives me this and that, she will also be tempted to accept the gifts from these guys, and she will not have the strength, or she will not be able to prevent some of these things because the mother herself is also looking for some of these opportunities. So fathers should be able to take responsibility of their children or responsibility of their family, because some of these things usually happen a lot, and that can also cause some of these things within the family. So in general, they've said so much, and then I'm just trying to bring out some of the things that is appropriate for us to listen to, because the thing is that in the cultural setting, a lot of these mothers do not really have so much rights like we have the rights now. So they do not have so much to do except the father has given the go ahead. And like I said earlier on, whether your husband has given you chop money or not, once you are a woman, you have to find ways and means to get food to feed the family in the evening. So what do? If your 15, 16, 17-year-old daughter comes home and say, I got a guy who is feeding me or is giving me this amount of money, and a guy comes to their house to probably say, pay respect to their mother and gives you a 10 cedis or a 20 cedis that you feel that you would be able to use to also feed their family, I don't think that a lot of us will have that self-control to sack that man out of our house. And once you start developing these breasts or start growing up, they think that you are grown and nobody is willing to actually take care of you, which is really very sad. So they are appealing that mothers should really step up their game. I want us to take a break. We'll be right back.
Books by Pastor A.L. Fant. They are inspired by the Holy Spirit, simple to comprehend, relevant in application, and so lovely to read. Grab copies like Dynamics of Kingdom Influence, Dynamics of Ministry, Mark is King for Church Workers, Money Matters, and she calls herself a woman. This marriage must work. No more curses. Loaded mouth. Secrets of Kingdom Dominion. The exploits of service. Things fall apart. church without bleeding pulpit, singles, mingle, and many more.
I'm back from the break. Today I'm trying to do an interview in Dagbani and also do a translation in English. So I'm stepping up my game anyways. But I believe that with these conversations going on, whether you understand them or not, but from whatever I'm translating, you'll be able to have a better perspective on that. So behind the scenes, there was this story or there was this issue about some of the young guys using charms on these girls. So I heard a story about a girl who, according to her, she just woke up in a room and she saw two guys, and she was suspecting that probably something like maybe being taken advantage of had happened, and she didn't even know she was pregnant until after 4 months. So I'll let them delve into that story and tell us the other perspective that they say they do not have control over. Manama, Mahamda, Adiyala Banshat attend the best Sambanema about Pastor Beso. Obome den Sham, the Mala below me be bon no, ko Odwanman Negi, so Juni. So Laban ma, Kubona Ayate, Tampanyar Lesham, Dabma be Nachem Behma, Bumpa Mar Kama. Charms be on lor be tima and mata pasarama
nda nyami biso da chan shukuru kaman pontamal kaman nienti example o chan la pontamal ma shukuru ka dinno ka gregre la sabo bioni to ne be chan la kulga ma wakati ma kalala o shukwa ma karvino la ban yarma o be mi kaman man la na ma o nemi ododu ka boys babai biosan o yisma o belan fili o patani ni jashale to o minini benne ko nya belamo mo be belamo dinyanga ko tamal ple on tamal puma shukurma ne ka wol mo jo ko tizan chanta kulu la bidbehma on zan chanta kulu ba yani mbazanga tepuwa bedela pulma kazam biane no na zan kulo yin o yin ma kunna ma wakati ma ka na ci mun dolna bayan mani na ban dolna ka yi bayan ma yir samban ne ban da nye nirba ai da yara ka ma yi si ka bi so sai kai na tim ka bi nan na ma an yi ma an ce lam da so ka ma zan la yi o zan yi o san to yil ma la ma mun bin mini kama ne bi ma ni ya la ka shirna da mo bin ya ban babban shatan ko yel bi ma no mal nol pam biyan ba wubsarba yara kama san kana yan abi yara yiran on yesha ma ka sama mbara dinya ka tinya la bi ma ka basanti fo ka dona na tinya nya lambo ma nan do mo wula biam ne ka bi ma zan fulma zon kul basane baba yalam bazan atipuwa o mi ne kule ka yale mamba mi mun ne la anda shalama mi da nyan man de zoro kan zan kuna lambi yal men mala fo ka yan ka da mamba mi mun ne to la an la shalama mi jeni inti yani mal fo ka yani ban batamatim nyanya shirmal fubin ka kama zan kana nan ta paya nyanya am shirmal bin ka ko po zan pa ba ka badi hal sa han bi ma na maro ne raba nku je zuwa man bi'ano be yelo ne rma ni yan kulmi wala ka ma labtan ma nan ta biyar fune
wow
do shukur ma ora ba chan on da dua ko ni ro ma so kama ni olam nan ba ta ba na go shukuru bazala ba dabo ba yarano ka na bi ma ni chan shukuru o bansam na gare mun boy ma bansam do bi ma de la mro la ma bale shukuru ma ti chan do ora ba sabela la JSS ma ngo ora sabwa ngo yuma tanda mo SS ma ngo ora lambor to shukuru be bane zo zan be dab ma yan dan palam nya chuta mbeti dagbang mu mpahen na handa tamani be maza bina bele la yisra nya ma yan kale wula kan nan so an lana ka tati yis dan shele obo boarne wula kama yen nan kam nan lam divi donc bida be ma be la bela ma vi ka be prince ma ka be dire tamanan baza de biawu na katapa be sahamu kati soro nduma naawni kan mer kun tire tamabi kam munya pa be du ni to won sogo puni to su man nduma naaw na naaw tamta nasara na lala biahsha na shi na ma da trapa malalamba de lamba mira yatmi bida bele ye bola de zasi dadam nyala dadam nyinya ma pe tabla ma ke chang o yan dia fila ma ay malga mala shahra dinya la ngundo ma gba mbola ma gba o mbola ma ka so so sane dan shele do ma ti ara di o ay yel nda ba di o ka pe ma gba ya man da bien ma ka non do ma yen to ma dol chang ayinga nti ka man nang da la zala kuri ay ba suwo ka yelo o bi zala ba ba suwo nto zoro ban balo zan matma non wose ama sa wo sta ma da la kan ma la fitina nan pa be shi kutane ka mal na handa la mana pa ni mana to gbam bane so yi gbo ona hando mi to ka be ma ngal la handa la ba ma dan pa be ti sa
so I was heard from the last point she made about the Ghana Education Service. In fact, when I went to the community, it's a community called Malshegu. I went there with my team. Like I said, this episode is powered by NORSAC under the Power to Youth project that we are implementing in partnership with the Martha Inspires Foundation. And the chief of the community mentioned that we shouldn't just be in the community, we should go to the schools. And his main concern was the fact that GES have brought directives that children cannot be disciplined in a certain way and all of that. That is making it very difficult for the children to be able to be obedient. Now, this is her point. She is saying that because of some of those things that children cannot be disciplined, the kids are now paying the parents back in pain because they felt that they should give them some rights. And the rights the kids are now enjoying are now paying them back, which is not right. But to the earlier question I asked her, she's saying that a lot of young guys are using charms to take advantage of these girls, which they have no control over. And even apart from that, when a girl gets pregnant, you know, of course, no parents will be happy about it, and they would want to vent and attack the guy's household and all of that. So some of these guys also go to the extent of using charms on the parents so that they do not take the necessary action against the guys. Now, she gave a scenario where a girl was charmed and the girl who was about writing her final exams had to leave the parents' house and go all the way to the guy's house in the village. And the guy did that because he said that if the girl finishes her school, she will become better than the guy, thereby not being submissive to the guy in marriage. So her main concern is that the use of charms or whatever spiritual forces to make these girls give in to the guys and also complicate issues for the parents is really on the rise. And that is one issue that is causing teenage pregnancy that mothers have no control over. Imagine Abu Bokama na pai.
Ay, ngana priyan tam de shelzo kamara on ko yel shemazo kanyan duntam. Dama yel mangle sa ngo bi de be mala bane yuni shele. Shebden ba ko en la timma nan bandirgo ne. Zana tete de pour belma automachi nya mane chante ndi bandiro kade kadam bala na shia korema kore de luang ma danan terte yalle o yandiele madi de pour belma yandiele madi ka shab ma biene benem behne kala lati mama be onto kuli yulo ni shele kabima ba yura kadulo ni yu benem behne kati mama karbe shamne behna karbe de zo kam bonne yele mbi duara taba tere kennene ante bi debbe ma nyela te so gurba be ma ba nyela te so gurba dama te be ma ko chang shikurne ka bi debbe gba chang pahi la bi debbe ma banon nande je fonce ma shikurne on gurba so ya de wa ba na bi ma nyela wonya chang tune on bon ya no sham lapso nyanga de zo te kya ka yurla ka ta bi lamba ka ta mal yurla na ta be amuno yim mal yurla na taba kar kya ka bi ma ka ba zuarta yayi te mena biya ha ba zuara lana ata tum la tu shira ko tum ama tere de kya ka ba zuarte nte yayi a kya ka yurla mbe amana bi ba ka sa shir kam ka shira na to dir ka la bala ko biye yeso sune way ko na shere ka zan yurla ma no way ku yan burga shere ka san yurul ma no balle ban be ne yar na bi sha ban be shi korna ma dike ko yelna no ngongo ka zan halle yo ha fon zo na ku fon fu ma so ka ta pa ndi fila on to ko na ma be dara ngom poma mvola ngo ka bor ka yarba vama nangda am jen ma hara pa nyara na tu shere be mama ngo yo anye na nangda shere ma kalare to nyende be yelo la ka yel to zang suro dafsel ya ka za dale nan nang larma nana biye bian ngo nan nang la nangana kan non ngo biye nyam bama ka yara ma bana ma ban jelela andara to ko ye shamma bana ma jelela o yan yel me no yel mo ma nyar de shira ka ba mana bi ba mana pa do biya ka bi ma ban mangoma wonen so bi ma ban shakam
ya ma
wonen ko so bi ma ko nyele me ka bi mangoma bi ma ladira mama su nangda ba ma nguna bi ma yitiyo dara te lar name o ya yiba yal yema lara to nangda to rasa yiba yal yema wa shema da gbata har la fitina na ka bi ma zuro ngar mama bi yan ka ho mang di fila ban shaka ma ka to dir fila gare bama da so ta tiya ka yurlam karbeta man ta be sane yurlam ma yi biya ta sane hala ayi kul kantiro wa kana ko to yurlam ya to da ne malo suhi balle shi kurmane ban biya shi kutman ma ba je suhi ya hanne balle sa hango de mo ba je suhi ya hanne tare zan da hala na ta gbobiya azan halina gbobiya bi ma anda geshere dan ya anda ku bonno za shere o bien zanni mane da zo ma ta mbi duara tabkan yara ndi duara taba an pamri la jande ni ce ka yurlam karajita man ta bezo ka ce ka na won subo karajita man ta be ma zo ni vo shab vorma ne ba yina en suanta fat bahe zante pune ti ma valbe yiran dan yara dan tirta barna dama ni anar tirta barna ma on to nan la gba kan bi dugo ma lamba won yan nan sham datim na to tu ko vale o jeno doye o vale on vale ma den to nan ka dirbla fulma rabla tun o valtim ma ko valtim ma bi ma na to ken yira bi nyum pa fulan ma on to palam fulma ne on palam fulma ma wala di on ya vale bi do ma di on ya vale ma de zo da gwarle soya to kuba sonna men yaba za da gwarla nyala soya de mon to ko san parti pour to ko fulma de mon to timma ko nyon pima wonon kuwol ma ama mam dilan ma yurlo mi ban men bi ma so sune na la shin tan shel ni yan rabiya ne mbene ka be bandirga na ka na komne ka na bandira la dama shin tan bala ama won sogo yibiya tamanta be ma so sune duma na ona sam la shin tan ma yi ko ma de so ta so mta duma na woni timte be ma kana won san yi ko kam zaha de yan nan bandirgo ne zan timbiya ka ba unzan guwo suele duma na won gumte ka chete so gorba
amen. So she said a lot of things. Of course, she's repeated some of the things that she said early on, but one key thing that she said was that we should love our kids. So imagine a daughter calling her father or her mother while in school and say, oh, I need this, Dada, Mama, I need this money. Even if you don't have, you don't need to shout and say, I'm not working. Have you ever seen me working? Or do you think it's farming season? Or do you know what I'm doing? Even if you don't have the money and you say, oh, I don't have the money now, but I will get the money for you at a later date. That is more consoling than shouting at them. Because while they are in school, they are not supposed to be emotionally unavailable. So parents should actually love their kids and show them love and be able to be patient with them, because if you are not patient and you keep shouting at them, they will not be able to understand and also be patient with you to give them their money at the right time. And she mentioned that fathers do not also take care of their children. In fact, that's not a new thing. It's not only in the northern region, it's mostly at several places. So you see a father who does not even care about the welfare of the family. So whatever he gets, he gives. If he doesn't get whatever the children need, all they do is go to their mother because they are now afraid of the father. So there is so much pressure on mothers to sustain the well-being of the family, from giving them food every day, from looking after their health needs and other needs. It's very, very difficult. So the pressure on the mother, it's so much, and they are also asking the fathers to help in that regard. And she ended by also praying and wishing or hoping that everybody should pray for their children, that we should not have instances where a girl gets a food from a guy and there is charm in it, there is whatever spiritual forces in the food, because that is what is causing these things. And she mentioned that sometimes a guy can just look at you. Sometimes some of these spiritual things, they put them under their eyes. I don't know how that is done. And while they look at you eyeball to eyeball, you are caught up. And that can also make the girl, let me say, fall in love with the guy, even though she wasn't willing to fall in love with the guy. And that can also be disheartening. Amahamda, na yet pasara mama manga. Bokabiyan na ka babanang puli.
Pasara mama banang puli da masaho. Oya na shell ka banang puli nyala. Farmer plan. To farmer plan ma biso ngoni ne wa ngona na mi. Ni champi. Bien na mama farmer plan kana nguma ka tamane. La yel yema. So bien oni ni na halako to pangu ji ashita na ba. Di nyala nyimba mami basa nyala zom. Domi agbaba mele. Anto wo no fam plan kar gwa ka taane dunya yel biare na ala ta kula doyi.
Nyamangre.
Abi ammi. Amine kuluzon o jile hala ayi wo no du. Na la na onta nasara. Domi zo bibi hipulmo. Bibli so to no pulbam ka tabo. Nungumbo wa zonoti. Karlanti yo mani on verso ma ko ina kanguna nungumbo wa zonoti. Ka dilang batakana ntabo mani ay ma jer pa mane nangangu o yen kanguna disa hadilla la bible fulma dana mal futina halle to do mi futina ma nyame bi ma nyala yum pinan biso be no pa yum pina iza so pa yum pina no maza kala la bi de belma no la o mino hankal garo hankal ma o yelo la o non fulma ko varsero kamino manza ati fulma da fulmu po nyala never you know targa hal mun yampa ma kan o bane nyanya ngone fro yino asobe no ko mim gwa no bane nyere ka bi ma zan kul ko muno la ma tan ngo fitina kam hali ka bu mun bi ma hala ka takpon jabe ne ko to ma zana ne ngum bane ndawala de be kan won ra ne ko bane ba dunya nga mun yara fitina ngu ka we ne la ban mo be no bane bala fitina ma ko to lu so ko to ma go ni de zanyala dunya fitina ka to sure wunda bla kam ngun kammi bible pule inongu be bi ma inongu dianguma kata ko son ama bi so na ka yelo ayen chan shukur ma ande chan na fama pla dara baso ko ya be na nan le aten du'a ba du'ara yamale o yelni o ten du'a o ba du'ara akuto yen o du'ara bi o ba du'a do ma araba nan le am ba nan ma to ban ni o yishir nan le kachan o itukuna won du'a bi o ku du'a akuto ban duzuro suma kunyame nduma naawun tamta nasara ka yihi banyan pahila la bihima hankale kamane alla bin yel ne ayan cha shukur ma to no fama plan ma ay na fama plan ma sa wa bela nangle de be nanga be duar suru ngode nya wa ma nyin lan ma nyin ko to wola domi aban nang la aban mi fama plan et pa ni sham to demi kabiyani ay cha kabina le be o yen chan shukur ka san o jan ko tan fama plan dianguma kato o nela dar ma dibo domi be force mama mpagaran so yobo so mi so yobo nti chan be force so me do so be ni o yen so me zala tamango mbe zala tamango na mana kabiyambi ko tutunto tablanto ke kamna ya ande zama no kan ko chan ko tan wala on to no force so me dama zunga ma tibo poro wala a ma gbanda ndoy dem fo wala ka yele zole milan tombiani tanan tokpa no trai be be sha tan kwanere boram po mo shaka ay mo la sa ama bi ni chantumani ka yelo di to be la nyokulum nan ti disa o ku sa ku no la o ino so la diwo so ma di de zuru na la ku pala ma suru o yen chang dim ja nuni ka zan to ka yele lihma dim ja nunu ma ne bjani kar sabe ni nunu gardim be man nunu ma ka zan ta ma de zuru an chen ma man so go nyela na won du ma ba zo sa shukur ka chen be ne tum bang sam kam ne na won ka tuma ma ne jela pa ne ta zo ma de pa shel ka bjani ka san yen taman dangarla ai chen nyen lihma na pwa shel ma zo to biso ban ka yelo la nduma na yi ku ka to abe nyel be shahalle ko to pare na won zo ma so gbole ta no gbob ta ni chiyama kache to duniya ma do asasma ma yan kale ma zan ti fuma danan pagalsi be mami bidib smami futina ma wallan gbable yilo ko bidib ma gbana yisna wallan bi yilo ko hali bidib dai bole bi formula ka chino yanga oy malni ba o bay kan ko biele biele an chang o ji sambane to yamale bin shahadin naaya nan da mamu suna lajibu do gbana lam payo o be do sambane do mai zombi occasion o pa yo be jino yan sambane o yen chama te la anji chapulha ab gata bang na batabiya ta pa mi dai bang to ta pa mi ne pa bang wala ma ka beto wala ma ta na bang dal ara yen sambane ai chama te damde mfo hala na kaino yan chama ti ya ka san wayan ka ko yala to na ne lapsana ni kuruma o ko yan na na ne lapsana ka tilla no ne ndo sambama ka lam ko ka garchi ami cham dinye do mbola ka zan ate pa ha ma to ke chena do mai mala na cham iye cham te damde mpuholan ma kaga to mi shakam nta be aman do ma nyanga ka ba bar yo ne ka zalam bolma bi sharan ta nan dilan ba mi da rira amma sa on to bu ba wala ba san to tedu bum bira so do lan chi ta ba bi do bilma o te ma ne don pa ma do shi o gbe ni pa ta san do ni ma da ma un toro yo na da hal zo sham na kul ba toro bala amba bi force ma ta ban na kul ba toro ba sham bi ma ba sham ben bala ma na ba toro ba to so ko nyame Bible pulma na on tamti un kam yana no sonti na on tamti za na sarara.
Amen. She said a lot of things, and one of the things she said from the beginning was the fact that contraceptives can help these young girls to prevent teenage pregnancy. But you see, the thing is, even if you ask them to go for these contraceptives, they say that there's a misconception that once you take it and it's time for you to have children, you will not be able to have children. And they, as mothers, they never have taken contraceptives before, because while they were young, they were kind of married off and they started giving birth until they reached to a point that they couldn't give birth. They do not know much about these contraceptives, thereby cannot even push their kids because they even seem to know more than them. Fathers as well can play a vital role in helping them to reduce teenage pregnancy. And also there are some young girls who come out maybe from the house, okay, I'm going to see this my friend, and they know that, okay, this is the person that this person is going through. These are things that were happening that they could probably assess and know the kind of friends that you move with or the kind of people that their children are moving with. But now it's not like that. It's like a lot of things has changed that they don't have control over. So in as much as we are asking them to help reduce teenage pregnancy, they are doing their best. They are willing to do their best, but it is way beyond them most of the times. Let's take our final break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We've had a great conversation, and you know, one key thing that keep coming to me is the fact that I don't know about wherever you are watching us from, but in the northern region there are a lot of cultural perspective and cultural differences are actually making our mothers unable to implement some of the things that they want to implement. I want to ask them, imagine me mahamda to born at Suzanne Jima kana end. Ama kubona umbohya bwago shale so that it did feed our kileza the zapa and lay yale. Majora what kana sane to manama to na min bot behma in sataba maybe nyimpa ai zoro na asor lambe nan kana bebe apa abu be wala katiyera nan kana to dirba la fila ayel na kala zang asas won pa katana jima kankana mahamda san ya chama
la saxa ko ma nguna ta sax ta nto yara be nto yara be de polo dama ma be du'a me ka gbada ta yisina ngba zang la wahabiya kamane aya nya pabo sham dama mbi tule ne wobse ne da tu wobse biso dama mama ne du'a ntule biya biya ko ma ndara na batama wara kullu perba sane dan payena kan du'a bi debse dan payena kan du'a bi fonga to ko me gba chang shukuru to rasaha dan da nan ka oto bien taliya garna in sa so me yelo saha ngo ambe shamma in ya ka lewuna da zo ta'bana ta'rama ayatin ya ban ya kaza dan ya ban zuwargo nzan min ce karanan ban zuwargo nzan ta amen du mirkalan zan da manga tam da bidar sa ta yara atan ya la ban ma yin zo da biam zan pa dabba fulo mirkalan mata dabba kama na yi dem da dabba nan da sham da zo ban zo ayin ya la ban ma ka ce ka man du mata taba an nan ngo amen nan le yaran bala a shukuru ku can tone a bi ku can tone
okay
zo na ra yalla bi ma ra wumtuma
okay
to na la mal shel nan pahe nzangte be pa sara na nakim bana tan be la mo tere ken jere chere ka ta zang sam be ta be mane te ke ka ta zang sam be ta be mane pa sara zom ya dabiam ka che ke shukurte kar can tone dama yi zang le mang tire yesu agurba ngo benjala banyan ta'ya kace yesu habiane dale fane ye banam men ye manama ban fal nyala shikurma ka ba zang da tiriya tenan katin ya zang ban sha'atin ya ta falen bala ka ta zang da tiriya ay gobla kirkire ka bi jen yera ka yune ataban pen kyang tun la agbasan yala so habiane nira ami be gobla kirkire a falma manta aba gobla kirkire ay sa lu nyanan lu ha ma nta falma nyaman lu ha ma de zo ta sara na ki mama na san sa ha shel tire nyala pammi ya manga pammi ya manga ka dan shele na yule ya ke nina blema ki bata yulte ka ta nina voy
to pa ay ama hamda
o ye to amana kan ko yampa tamani ban mama man biela ma ka shukuru ma ndinye murso hal takba dama so kan biani ba mala ba yiko targa abani to zanga to shukuru ka zanga nan tumbang sim shapuni te la nya balwa ba shakam no ko zanga nan na abu hamma afal ko tama duzuru ayi hal di pam na chem tuma mana ka so ha madam kalam na yinga ayana na badru ba ka sa ko robian ka madi ada shel ka le ka ma sa ko madi ma duzuru man yara zungo pasara ne na chimba balime balamba pilgo na ban mamman be ma pilgo da ban lamba ma ban te kuro ma biyan fama zal ban pilgo da nan kwalam da zurtu sura ba mai bai ci yim tabi har ka shel din ya fitina taba don bi nan la ma ban mamman da nan da ban bi da sama kan nan da bi ku sama ba ka ba za gutab soya so group biyar ma ka ba za gutab soya da zurtu mala sa'su shel din ye zuwa dabsal wata sa'su nyame na malam bi da be ma ka yo taba bi wum fo mo zo tin yarmu ka nawo yo bata vaya nawo ni yal ne so gba man di afana da puni o lan yi to o biana bandirgo munde to tan pa ka bden nan mai shele
pa aya pam so they are saying that every young person should understand that the future is bright and exciting, and you should look at the future. You shouldn't desire to have everything right now. So she was saying, even if you come home and you don't even have food to eat and there is leftover, you can eat that leftover. And every young person should understand that you don't have to rush for money or some of these things, and that is what is putting all of us at risk in this teenage pregnancy. So I asked Majenabu about whether mothers are having the time to talk to their girls about menstrual hygiene practices and adolescent health, and she said yes, she does that, and these girls are listening to her, but she's still encouraging other mothers or other women to serve as role models to also talk to these young girls about these things, which will help reduce teenage pregnancy in the long run. Empire Pam ni inye saha ankana nte jinzu interview ma to Paya Pam na sablara. We'll be back with thoughts. Hello and welcome to Thoughts from Martha Inspires. I want to encourage every parent in Tamale, in Malshegu community who is watching this episode or who have finished watching this episode. I want every parent to take keen interest in the development of their girl child. Teenage pregnancy have become a very vital concern to all of us in the advocacy space. The Martha Inspires Foundation and NORSAC on the Power to Youth project, we are spearheading this campaign to reduce teenage pregnancy, and we believe that together we can all do this. We do not have to allow our girls get pregnant while they can be in school. I can't do it alone. You would have to come in to help us. Please, these are my thoughts, these are my plea, these are our concerns as parents, as CSOs, and as people that want a better life for our communities, a better life for our region, and a better life for our country, Ghana, at large. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.